Good morning, Colleen. Morning, Soccer Mom of One, SK Jean, Tina Hansen. Good morning. Eve, good morning. Hope we are all doing well. Christy Cunningham, Starfire 3, good morning. Not sure that's showing up in order there. Kind of flipped it while I was looking at it, it flipped it from the top to the bottom and then back to the top, but good morning all the same. Debbie, good morning. Hope you all have a great weekend. You're feeling well. I hope your families are well. So glad to be here with you this morning. Thanks for everything you do. Thank you. Mary, good morning. Mike Stevens, Allah Akbar. All right, I'm going to have to take a minute to Kanda Kara? Allah Akbar Kanda Kara? Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. Soccer Mama 1, beautiful day in the neighborhood. Tina Hansen, can you smell the bacon and home fries cooking? Oh, God, I wish I could. Kind of hungry the way it is now. But probably won't eat for 3 hours. My family's they're all still sleeping. They had a pretty late night. Rupal, good morning. Catherine Maloney, good morning from Ireland. Good morning and welcome to the stream. Glad you could be here today. It's going to be a scorcher here, heat-wise outside. I think they're calling for 111 today. So, gonna have to drink plenty of water. Bacon will wake them up. Yeah. I could go cook some bacon, but then I wouldn't be able to do the live stream. Tina? Way too hot. Wow. R. Dorel, welcome to the stream from New Mexico. Dolores, good morning. Time to bake some cookies in the car. Damn near can. I have to recharge the AC unit in my truck. Keep on forgetting to do it. I bought the refill canister. I just haven't had the time to do it this week. I knew it was going to get hot too. Good morning, how are you feeling? My forecast of 80 degrees where you are, Dor. So I'd rather have it be 80. Gayla, good morning. But yeah, it's not that hard to do to recharge your AC unit. You can actually buy the ones with the little dial on it, so it actually tells you when it's full. It's expensive, but if you think about how much you use your AC unit in your car or truck, it's not that difficult. You just twist a little plastic thing, twist on a little one, like as if you're going to put air in something, because you're putting basically Freon in it. Good morning, Tammy. So I'll have to get that done today. Probably before I go golfing. Because it'll be hotter than hell once I get done golfing. And I ain't going to feel like standing outside in the sun and doing it then. Victora, welcome. Hi. Welcome to the stream. Blue 1, 2, 3, 4. It's kind of weird because I'm looking at the stream, and the names that are at the top are moving to the bottom, and then ones at the bottom are moving to the middle, and then other ones are flipping over. They're like leapfrogging. I don't know if anybody else has seen that. R. Dorrell, or said a little Dorrell. It's kind of hard to keep up. 105 where Vicky is. Oh, 105 there temperature wise. Oh, yeah. Anything over 80 degrees is, it's too much for me. I mean, I can take the heat. I just don't like it. But it's part of life, I guess, right? When it's cold, everybody wants it to be warm, and when it's warm, everybody wants it to be cold. Do you have it on live chat or top chat? SK Gene, I don't have a clue, and that's the honest truth. I hear people talking about top chat and live chat, but I'm streaming from StreamYards, so I have no idea what the settings are on YouTube, or if there's a way to change it here on StreamYard. I'm not exactly the biggest fan of StreamYard, especially lately with everything that's been going on with it. It's been extremely glitchy. Sometimes you'll be in the middle of a stream and it'll just freeze. Where I can run YouTube next to it, and YouTube is running perfectly fine. There has to be something that in between the two of them, communication error. Whose fault would it be? I'm not sure. I'd like to blame YouTube, like to blame StreamYard, but I don't know which one is actually messing around with their algorithm or whatever they're doing, but they're doing something. More short, nice. They just passed bylaw today. We have to wear masks in public places. Yeah, that's pretty much the way it's been here for quite a while where I live. You can't go into any public place at all, gas station, supermarket. And it doesn't really bother me, but a lot of places that you can't go in. I mean, and they're handing out free disposable masks, that you can free to wear while you're there. But the larger stores are, but the smaller independent retail stores are still not allowed to be open. Because me and my wife, we have several friends who have small mom and pop stores. They're still not allowed to open at all. They can set up a sidewalk sale outside, but they're not allowed to have anyone into their retail locations. And it's really disturbing because the governor here just keeps on rolling back the requirements for smaller independent stores to open. And most of our friends, in their stores have been closed since March. And talking to them, they can't make it past August. They know this is the make or break month. They've exhausted all their savings to, pay the bills. They still have to pay the bills, pay the electricity. They have to keep the refrigeration running for, their one friend who has a small, I guess it'd be like a restaurant luncheon place. They're only open during the hours for lunch and for early dinner. But they got to keep the refrigeration running, or all that food and everything that they have is going to spoil, especially what's in the freezer. So let's see here. Leapfrog is fun, except I don't do it anymore. Soccer mom of one, 27 degrees Celsius, which is 81 degrees Fahrenheit. Feels like 31 degrees Celsius, 88 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah. Well, it's going to be a hot one. Look at the top of your screen. Does it give you some random lines? Click on those. Top of my screen. No, top of the screen, I've got, let's see, I got edit. Oh, edit doesn't do anything. Where I'm streaming to, which is to YouTube. I'm streaming from StreamYard to YouTube. And then the next thing I have is end broadcast. Let's see. Nothing underneath. Settings. Settings is just camera, audio, green screen, and guest. Comments is what I'm reading now. I don't see where it is. But thank you for trying to help. Blue 1234. Nurse Bev, good morning. Mind you, have still seen some not wearing them. Yeah. Oh, me and my wife, we went to Target a week ago because we have a little problem in our house. I have a 4-year-old who just keeps on growing, and it's like I bought him underwear and shirts and socks, and of course he loses socks like there's no tomorrow. He just takes them off wherever the heck he is. I'll find one in the living room, the other one outside in the sandbox. But so we take him to Target, and there are people who are wearing like face masks made out of lace. We saw one guy who had a face mask, but he cut all the fabric out, so it's just the straps on the outside of it. And then other people who are wearing them on their necks or on the top of their head. People just don't care. We try to educate people as much as we can, but in a non-confrontational way. Because if some people, if you talk to them, you just say, hey, it doesn't do you any good around your neck. You need to put it over your nose and mouth. They just get belligerent as hell. Like I'm a customer, and I'm somehow, trespassing on their rights. And we try to explain to them. At least I did a couple of times. The store doesn't have to allow you in. They don't have to, serve you. They have the right to refuse service. But they don't seem to like that. So, Judah, good morning from Sydney. Malbato, we don't wear masks, just wash hands a lot. Washing hands is very important. Vicky, I live in Washington State. It should be the other way around. Small businesses open instead of backwards. Yeah, it is short and nice. It is very backwards. But we know for right now, of the six friends we have with small businesses, 4 will not be around anymore after the month of August. If they have to remain closed for the entire month of August, that's it. They just can't do it anymore. So, most restaurants and small businesses, like our friends, they run on a very small profit margin the way it is, and with no income at all. And if you're only you're a self-proprietor and you maybe have one employee, even the payroll protection is not going to do much. It's going to pay for the payroll for the person who was laid off. If they were a full-time employee, and the rules and the paperwork that are involved in it are just so convoluted, it doesn't help. It doesn't do anything for her, or him, who may have the store. They can say, okay, you can use so much of this money towards paying your rent and stuff like that. But what about insurance? What about the all the other things that you have to go into, taxes and stuff like that are due, L&I, payroll taxes, everything that they must pay into on a quarterly basis, and the quarter, comes up, you don't have anything left. You expended all your savings. Then what? And that's where they're at. It's really saddening to watch people who've spent their entire lives. They've bucked the trend. They've been able to, make a living for themselves as a small business owner, and then watch it slowly crumble before your eyes every single month. And for them, it's got to be even twice as hard because, it's their dream, their passion. And like one friend of ours, Joy, she's had her business for 22 years. 22 years in the same location. And she's done pretty well for herself, but it's about to end right now because of COVID. She will not make it past the end of the month, and there's nothing that anybody can do for her. Online sales or something, sidewalk sales, or something, liquidating whatever she could. She's already done that. And there's nobody out there. There's no, knight in shining armor is going to, ride in and save her from going under. It's terrible. Yeah. Weird thing is, if you go into a restaurant, you have to have one, but take it off to eat. Can eat inside. You can't where you are, Nurse Beth. Yeah, but here you can't eat inside of any place. You can. Most places have blocked the entrances, so you can walk up in order to go, or call in, or they're using Grubhub or Uber Eats or something to try to stay open. But it does that style of delivery doesn't work for every type of restaurant. Especially if you order like through Grubhub, they take a bunch of different orders, and different, not just Grubhub, but other ones like delivery services like that. They take a bunch of different orders and they deliver them as they can, so it's more efficient for their drivers and people who are out there delivering. Good morning, Oma. Our small stores are not open, but you have to wear masks. Are open. Well, that's good, Mary. I'm glad things are open there. It's gonna get a lot worse before it gets better. That's the way we look at it. Karen, in the northeast England, where I am, they have rolled back openings. Up we have spike in cases. Can't meet people in your house. We can have small gatherings where we are here. It was we were at stage 2. Then the governor rolled it back to 1, and now we're at 1.5. He just keeps on making new. But at stage 2, you could have places where you could gather up to 50 people. That then he said nix that. And then he said 10. Then he said nix that. You can meet people, but it has to be in an outdoor environment only. So we never know what's going to happen next. Sorry about that. I can't turn the stupid notifications off because I'm on another tab. I have YouTube open because I'm uploading a video right now while I'm doing this. Can't go to the gyms and not wear one. None of the gyms here are open at all. So everybody's just at home eating and getting fatter and fatter. And you can't go to the gyms. You can't go to the beaches here. You can't take your children to the playground, to any kind of like jungle gym, swing set, and it's all closed. You can't take all the water parks, outdoor recreation parks, like where they run across like the fountain, the fountains themselves, and then they spray up, like shoot water in the air. They're all closed. Don't know why. Just the governor decided that water parks and recreation like that for children is not needed, and that they might spread COVID by running through a sprinkler. I don't understand the science behind it. Apparently, he's got a degree in something that nobody else has ever heard of. Yeah. Oh, we've seen some really bizarre stuff, Nurse Beth, for facial masks. I saw one guy with a coffee filter in his mouth. It just looked like he had like a little package of coffee filters, and he shoved it in his mouth. It was hanging out of his mouth. He figured that would be better than nothing. But we've seen some really bizarre things. My wife's seen a lot more. She works in a medical laboratory that is actually they're a pathology laboratory, but they've opened up the other half of the building as doing COVID testing and screening, and they're doing them in large groups for businesses. It's not like a walk-in business, so anybody can just come in and have it done. So, for example, we had a local college sports team that came in. So all this, they actually put them all on a school bus. We don't get this. They put them on a school bus. They could have taken two buses, and so they had social distancing on the bus, but they put them all on one school bus. And there was 87 in a bus that seats 90. And they brought them, that was all the players and the trainers and everybody else, support staff. They brought them all over, tested them all. And we're like, you guys know that you guys are all in a confined space. If one has it, he probably shared it to another. And if two had it and they've shared it to a whole larger group of you, you probably all have it now. But people, they just not using that, that thing between their ears up, all that much. The see-through visors are much more comfortable, and you can see the person's face. Yeah, that's true. Blue, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's really important for my son. My son has autism, and he's really scared because when you cover your face like that and you can only see the eyes, picking up social cues is hard enough, but covering your face and he can't see your expression of your face, he doesn't know if he's in danger, if he's you're happy, if you're sad. He doesn't know. He can't pick up on these cues at all. And when you cover the face of someone with a mask and a face shield, it's even more foreign to him. And some stores I've gone to, we have the governor put in place a requirement that children under the age of 5 don't have to wear face masks, at all. But he's got to get used to it if he goes to speech therapy on Mondays, so he has to get used to wearing it for her to go to speech therapy, and then they take his temperature and stuff like that before he actually see his speech therapist. But he has to get used to wearing it because he can't be in the building without one on. So it's hard. You have to give and take instead of just drawing a line in the sand and saying you shall not cross this line unless you're wearing a mask. Some people can't breathe properly, get enough oxygen through masks. Other people are they're just assholes and they don't care about anybody else and they just refuse to wear one. Excuse me. Any word on vaccine yet, Short and Nice? Well, I know they're in the first part of the clinical trial. They develop it so far, and they've given it to a limited number of people. And I don't know, if they've seen adverse side effects or not from it. I don't know any of the clinical part of that. My wife would know that part, but I just know that they're in the first part of it. And Dr. Fauci, whatever the heck how you pronounce his name, he said at the press conference the other day that they're hoping to have the vaccine rolled out by the end of the year. It takes time. It takes time to develop something like that. And in between now and then, every month that goes by between now and the end of December, the likelihood is that we are going to see a mutation of the virus itself. It's either going to be stronger or it's going to be weaker. We don't know. I mean, there have been a couple of different variations of mutations that have shown up in India and in Vietnam. But as far as the CDC and the World Health Organization has said, which is not much at all, because they pretty much at this point, the White House doesn't trust the CDC to keep the records on COVID anymore. So they've been taken out of the loop, so they can't really say anything at all. And the World Health Organization, nobody believes anything that they have to say. I mean, if you're in the medical field, you have to have problems with the World Health Organization. They've selectively ignored that certain countries even exist for years. because of politics that have been, being played within the World Health Organization. But when it comes to something like this pandemic, it's a worldwide pandemic. They're the only ones that are going to keep any type of records at all. So you have to take what they say and then look at it and go, okay, does this meet the actual data from these individual places? Does it actually add up? And unfortunately, you have to become a detective, and you have to be, kind of cautious to what they say. But there's nobody else out there. Carla, good morning. I will. Can I say that I'm very disappointed with your members only thing? You were the last person I expected to do something like that. Like what, Carla? I really don't know what you're talking about there, sweetheart. I really don't. Good morning, Kevin. Hey, from Tampa. Fauci. Is that how you pronounce it? Fauci? Sure. But thank you for that, because that. Many of the country in BC are going back onto lockdown. It seems our leisure is being eroded. It's being eroded everywhere. JJ51, good morning. I'm in the UK, Yorkshire. The pubs, beaches, shops, and dressers are all open, but you can't see a doctor. Yeah, I'm waiting to go see my doctor here. My doctor is only dealing with people who are dealing with COVID. I had to get a refill on my prescription, and I had to do what they call a teleconference thing with them, virtual visit. Basically, it's on Zoom. He asked me how I was doing, any changes, or anything like that. I said no, and he said, "Okay, I'll call in the script." And then it took the pharmacy like a day and a half to fill it. Pistol Pete, good morning. I still don't see a response to that, Carla. What is it that I supposedly did that you're disappointed me in, and that I did? I'd really like to know what I did that upset you. Debbie Light, good morning. Good morning, Irish Eyes. Shrug Trotter. But now we are supposed to believe the World Health Organization on the numbers, and the numbers that just magically started going down the day that they took over suddenly dropped in the curve just like that. Oma, when it comes to the COVID numbers, take them with a grain of salt. Don't base don't live your life based on the numbers. Base your life and what you do for your protection and for your family's protection based on what is going on in your local area. Don't worry about if they say there's 150,000 people who have COVID, or 150,000 dead. Say, okay, great. Well, what can I do to protect myself and my family here locally, in my area? What's happening in New York and the spike there is not, or what the spike in Germany or wherever in the world may be happening. Yeah, it may be half a world away, but do what's best for you and your family. It's the way we look at it, and it's the way we live our lives. And my wife has friends over every week, and we have ever since this entire COVID thing has started. We just take precautions, and we make sure that we protect ourselves and our family. It's all you can really do in the end. Jennifer Cheney just clicked on what's going on. Hope everyone is doing great. Well, thank you, Jennifer. I'm doing great. I hope everybody else is as well. Joanne Childress, good morning from San Francisco. You brought the coffee and popcorn? Cool. I'm not much of a popcorn fan. Is anybody else a fan of popcorn? When I go to the movies, which is rare, but whenever I go to the movies, I don't buy popcorn. I'll buy like a bottle of water. Well, I'm cheap, but that's beside the point. I've never been a fan of popcorn. Just curious if everybody else likes popcorn. And good morning, Foxy Lady. Again, I'm sorry that I start the stream, and you probably got the notice that of the live stream an hour early, because I have to set this stuff up because it's constantly changing. Because I do other streams, and I allow my friend to use this space as well for his YouTube. So believe it or not, everything back here has a little tiny piece of tape underneath it, so it marks out the corner, so everything goes back in the same place. It's all marked. It's not just there for looks. Well, it's there for looks, but it's also there, so I put it back in the same place. Because when he does his podcast, this table and everything on it gets moved over there. Well, okay, so it'd be that side of the screen, and then there's a bar here for the green screen that goes up above it. The reason why I move it is so it doesn't get knocked over. None of the stuff gets knocked over, and the tape is there, so I make sure that it all goes back in the same spot. Works out pretty good. We're hoping that here in the next week or so, we'll be able to get him set up in his spare bedroom of his house. Well, it's not really a spare bedroom. Him and his fiance. His fiance she has two daughters from a previous marriage, and they get them every other weekend during school. But because of COVID, and everything else, the dad is kind of being a dick, and so is his new wife. So there's issues there. So they're not getting them as frequently as they should be. Sam, good afternoon. Yeah, but Carla, the thing is I don't understand what I did. I mean, you can say all I can say is you're disappointed with your members only thing. You were the last person I expected to do something like that. Okay, we'll leave it at that. I'm sorry you're disappointed in whatever you believe that I possibly did. I really am. I haven't posted anything to there. I mean, I make member only videos. I don't post anything. I don't go on there and ask people for more money. Or I don't go on there and pester people. I don't email people. You want to be a member? Great. If you don't have to be. It's a great way to support my content without having to worry about it. And then for at the different levels, people renew each month. They don't have to, but I don't know what I could have possibly have done that was so upsetting. Unless you're talking about the content of one of the videos, and I don't really think I should have to apologize for making the content that I do. Baked homemade cookies every week. Now I'm going to get depressed. I hope you don't get depressed, Gayla. Good morning, RN Forensics. trying to remember if I seen you on Profiling Evil the other night. I saw you in another stream somewhere. If it wasn't there, or maybe it was another channel. But either way, good morning, RN student. Kettle corn. I love that. They used to have kettle corn, like fresh made kettle corn at Costco. But I haven't seen that set up in a while. Used to buy a big old bag of it for my wife and my daughter. They love that stuff, the kettle corn. Fancy Nancy, good morning. Welcome to the stream. When the schools open up, there will be a huge spike. There is no way to really social distance children. They cannot stay in their seats all day. Schools were not built for this. No, and that's true. It's a very valid point there, Fancy Nancy. I know here locally where I am, the teachers union have all voted to not reopen at this point, even though the school board decided that they, in their infinite wisdom, that they would just go back to school as normal. So, and without even talking to the teachers or the principals or administrators of the school, they just decided their infinite wisdom. Yeah, great. I know the numbers are on the rise here. Let's just reopen anyways. But there's a lot of children out there, though, at the same time, though, putting everything aside, all the politics of it. A lot of children like my son, who don't learn from social distancing. They learn one-on-one, and they have to be there in school. So Zoom and stuff like that is not, in these virtual, classrooms, they're never going to help him. And he's going to stay here when he should be here in development. So I have to pick up the where the teachers in the school would have been. I pick up there, and I have no problem with that. I mean, I have nothing but time to devote to him in his education and and building the skills that he should have. Because you know what, the last thing I want to do is watch him fall behind any farther. But not every parent is like me, who has the time and the ability to be able to do that. But we do the best we can. That's all we can really do. But you have a very valid point there, Nancy. Fancy Nancy. But we would definitely see a spike, because not only that, but the schools, children, they can't sit still, but they're constantly touching their faces and their mouths, and and they're not going to want to wear, especially younger children, they're not going to want to wear that. I have hard enough time trying to get my 4-year-old to blow his nose when he's got a runny nose, and it's like wipe it on their sleeve, or something. And it's not my son. It'll be another kid who will do that. And then you're going to see the whole thing go with, a huge spike. Because, we've already raised one child. She's 22 years old. But we've been through it. We've seen it. I know what'll happen. At least you're honest and blunt. We love you. Jennifer, good morning. Drupal, you love popcorn? Really? K-Love, good morning. Sweetheart, how are you doing today? Sorry if I didn't see you earlier. Mandy Hall, good morning. I'm going down and up through the stream here to make sure, because it's still skipping around. So maybe it is on like top chat or whatever the other thing was, most chat or recent chat, why it's skipping back and forth. But I'm scrolling up and down here trying to make sure I don't miss anybody. What's going on? Why is someone pissed? I don't know. I see there's a super chat, but I have to scroll all the way back down. I'll get there in just a minute. Come bake me cookies if you want, Gala. Or bake them and put them in a box. Will Tim be visiting anytime soon? Tina, let's see. Well, in 3 weeks we have two golf tournaments that we're playing in. So, and he's gonna take off. He won't have his grandchildren for almost a week. And when he does that, his ex-wife actually flies into town to help his daughter take care of her children. So he'll be. I don't. He definitely won't be down then. He could be down next weekend, but I doubt it. But never know. A lot of times we have to play it by ear when it comes to if he can actually make it down here. It all depends on how busy he is with work. If he has a project that he's working on, he has to pay more attention to that, and finances as well. This hasn't been easy on him. Maggie May, hi Will. Hope you're doing well. I am Maggie, and thank you very much for asking. I hope you are doing well as also. Nurse Bev, you like candy corn? Candy corn, those little candies that you get at Halloween. I used to eat those, and I'd bite off the white and then bite off the orange and then save the yellow. I was a kid. Can't please everyone. That's true. Kevin Tweeny, why do I want to hear about politics from someone who believes in the Sky Captain? Well, what is this? I don't know what a Sky Captain is, Kevin. What is Sky Captain? Sorry, I don't understand that reference. For your time and the money. If anyone is upset, then they don't have to join. We all love and keep up with good work. Thank you. Appreciate it, Jennifer. Antimore Lane. Hey there, 411. I didn't know you added the membership perk. That's fantastic. Yeah. Actually, I had it at one point, and then I got tired of it, and I deleted the entire thing, the channel membership, because when I signed up and I started offering it, YouTube gave me a whole list of different things. They said you can offer all your members these perks, and I'm like, great, sounds like a good deal. So I offered it. Some people signed up, and then I found out half of the perks that they had listed on the page didn't work. And to this day, some of the perks that they have on there don't work. And if they do work, they are extremely hard to get working. Like for streaming for a channel member, I have to, if I want to stream from StreamYard, I have to go there, make sure it's turned on, then go back and then to StreamYard, and it's just convoluted having to go back and forth between the two, and having to know if you have to turn the other one on. Otherwise, you can just be streaming all that long and not know. You'll never get anybody to show up because nobody gets none of the members will get the notification that you're streaming for the members only. So they make it difficult on purpose. And you can bet, just if anybody else is a YouTube creator out there, you can go to on YouTube, look up Creator Insider, and so whenever something starts to fall apart here, like Super Chat's not working, YouTube starts to offer their own program for doing it instead. If links won't work, to a secondary place like PayPal, YouTube is offering their own link that way. So whenever somebody offers something that's better than what they have, they then start offering their own. I don't know if that makes any sense to anybody. Like streaming, they started off with a basic streaming service, and then everything that everybody else was offering in the streaming service, they've taken little pieces from here and there and then made them their own, while at the same time not allowing the other services to work on their platform anymore, because they can monetize that content, and they never tell anybody that they're doing it. So whenever you can't screen share, it's because YouTube is about to offer their own screen share service. All right. Half Rudder, thank you for the super chat. A teacher in my grandkids' school camp got COVID, and they closed yesterday to disinfect. Wow. Yeah, my son is supposed to go to camp next weekend, and they closed his entire camp. He actually goes to a camp that is just for children with autism, but they limited where children can come to the camp from, and if they say you're coming from this area or this area, and they are having an outbreak, COVID in those areas, they said nope, you're not coming at all, and they just refunded your money. Then they decide, well, we better, do disinfecting like that, to the camp. And then a couple of camp counselors and other people who were there, who worked there, and one was a cook, I think, or groundskeeper. They all tested positive for COVID. So they just said, refund everybody's money. We're just not going to have it this year. It sucks. I just bought my son a new sleeping bag and, a lantern that looks like a ladybug. It's a really cool lamp. But now he doesn't get to use it. So, well, at least not go for the camp. Thinking about just putting up a tent in the backyard, and seeing how he enjoys that. RN student forensics. You're welcome. Thank you for the super chat, RN. Member of what? Sam, it's just like being like a Patreon supporter, but it's directly through YouTube. It's YouTube's way of taking Patreon out of the picture. What they do is they offer the same services that you can offer on Patreon, but they offer it directly on YouTube, thus cutting Patreon out of the picture, like I was saying. So that's what channel membership is. You can sign up for at different levels and support the creator and their content at different channel membership. And you'll see people with like next to Mary, she's got looks like an S that's sideways in green. There's green, yellow, red. I mean, I can add different icons and stuff like that for each and every level. But they signify not only how long they've been a member, but they are a channel member. People like it. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you for your time and everything. Red rum. Good morning. Molly, good morning, sweetheart. Hope you are doing well this morning. Biden will lose the vote. No real support. Just more fake poll numbers. Kevin, I don't pay attention to poll numbers at all. I mean, if somebody's paying attention to poll numbers, they didn't watch the last election in 2016. 411, how can I reach you? I need to talk to you about something. Not public, although I couldn't DM you on Twitter. Well, Red Rum, I was on your account the other day. I'll back up a little bit. I'll give you a reference to this. So yesterday I was on CC's stream in the morning, and she had mentioned you in the stream, and I said, "Oh, is Red Rum here?" She's like, and apparently you weren't, but she just mentioned you anyways. It was all good. It's all good. Nobody said anything negative. But I was like, well, I wanted to tell you that the video you did the other day, you did an excellent job at. And so I can actually, on your About Me page on your channel, I do believe there's a thing there where I can click to send you an email. So after this stream, I will email you, and it'll just say, hello, this is Will. And that'll be the subject line, and then you can communicate, get a hold of me that way. Okay. So I'm really sorry you don't have my email address right now. But I mean, you could send me an email the same way. Go to my About Me page here on YouTube, and you scroll down. You'll see a gray bar that says "See email address." You click on it. It'll ask you if you're a robot. If you are a robot, you won't know that you have to click on "No, I'm not a robot." And once you do that, then it will show you my actual email address. And that's for anybody else out there that needs to or wants to email me as well. I'm gonna write down your before I scroll on. I'm gonna write down your Twitter. Now, that way I can stalk you on Twitter. I mean follow you. I mean follow. It's follow, right? It's follow on Twitter. There. Write that down. Karen Purnell, my two went back. They did doubles rather than distancing, so they were only ever in contact with 10 kids. Oh, it's Diana. This is devastating to parents with schools closed and everything else. It's been devastating to a lot of parents who've had to scramble to try to find daycare for their children. And it's not only going to hurt poor parents, it's going to hurt working families immensely. And it still has been since all this close down has happened. And it's one of the things people are just not talking about. We build our lives on, here in America on, mom or dad or both work. The kids go to school and maybe they have an after school program. One parent picks them up, brings them home, and then the other parent comes home. Maybe they rotate, or work, some kind of like, share like that, or, but something, and so we don't have like the 1980s, we had the latchkey kids who were just coming home by themselves. Now we have programs set in place, but all that's been wiped out because of COVID. And these parents have had to scramble. Well, what do you do with the kids now? Well, they're home all the time. They're distance learning. Well, you can't just leave them there with a laptop all day long by themselves. I know if I left my son alone for a couple hours, he'd probably order me a couple $1,000s worth of stuff off of Amazon, and that'd be broke. Everything is designed to hurt the poor people. The greatest wealth disparity ever, massive unemployment and record unemployment. This is true, Kevin. A very good point. Oh my God, Fancy Nancy. My son watches that dang show. Yeah. Well, thank you, Fancy Nancy. And while we're at it, and since you said you're a special needs teacher, thank you very much for what you do. It takes a giant heart to want to be in that position to help someone, like a child who needs, and has barriers to, in education. Good morning, Cement Shoes. You literally still thought it was Friday, huh? Wait till they trade the Spider-Man mask for the Paw Patrol mask. The whole school shut down. Leave it to Beaver. Good morning. Sweet pea butterfly. My dad's lung specialist said yesterday, if kids go to school, they will end up getting the virus eventually. I really worry about kids. Sweet pea butterfly. Yeah, that is true. And and I've read online and I've seen a couple of videos with different specialists in this actual field who said that there is a chance, a small chance, but there is still a chance that the COVID-19 may never go away until everyone is affected and everybody has built up an immunity to it, or we come up with a virus that blocks people from being able to get it again. And that's what part of the clinical trials that are going right now is they, all right, fine, we give you the COVID shot, but it doesn't make you more susceptible to get it again. And if you do get it again, does it come back, the COVID virus actually affect you even worse? Are there other side effects? This is just how any drug is developed. Obviously, a lot slower here in America because, we have so much regulation when it comes to developing drugs. They're trying to push through those as much as possible and not hold the pharmaceutical company, responsible for whatever happens to you. And if they come out with the COVID vaccine, I'll answer right now. There's no way in hell will I take it. That's just me personally. I won't take it until I've seen the actual data from the actual studies and the clinical trials. Then, once I've seen it and I can make an informed decision, then from the actual studies, not what some news outlet or somebody wants to push in one way or another. And when I've seen the data and I've made the decision, then I'll decide if I'm going to get the shot. Otherwise, won't do it. And I'm sorry if I missed anybody's comments. A whole bunch of them just went shooting by, and it's terrible. I obviously I don't have this on latency or whatever. This is all on me, ladies and gentlemen. I'm thinking that this has to do something with the latency, and I didn't set it right. Quit talking about cookies. We're making Diana hungry. Cookies are good. Life is way too short not to have cookies. Kevin, the oligarchy will be happy when 90% dead and 10% immune. I think the oligarchy needs those percentages just to be a little bit less than 90% there, Kevin, because if 90% are dead, who's going to do all their bidding for them? Who's going to wipe their butts and clean up after them, and be their indentured servants? So they probably wanted to be right around maybe 70% dead and 30% immune. That would they would prefer that. I'm thinking that would be a better percentage for them, Kevin. Adapting to changing times and circumstances is something American children, teachers, and parents have done for eons. It shouldn't be hard to do given these circumstances. Yeah, it wouldn't be hard, Oma, to actually do that. And I completely agree with you there. But the problem is in this day and age with the internet and people so vastly spread over the field of education and what they understand about the virus and how to protect themselves, you're going to get people who will send their kids to school who will do anything and everything to make sure that their kid doesn't have to wear a mask, doesn't have to use hand sanitizer, doesn't have to use soap, because they'll look at it as someone treading upon their constitutional rights, even though they can't find that in the Constitution anywhere. Well, there's nothing in the Constitution that says you have to use soap or sanitizer or wear a mask, or that making someone do it is that somehow a violation of their rights. But that's what they believe. And so in this day and age, it's hard to get any one group of kids or adults to do anything, when you prove that it's in their best interest. Please just wear this stupid mask and wash your hands. That's all we're asking people to do. But they see it as a step towards eroding their constitutional, rights. Okay. And they call everybody sheep, and then that gets spread down, and then fear builds up behind it, and that's where we end up. Everybody just says, well, I'll just stay home, hide underneath my bed, and wait for this all to blow over. Or they take the polar opposite of it. Nuts. I'm draft enough to without a chip in my system. Drama must remain on stage. Good morning. We all have come trick you, LOL. I want a vaccine. You want protection? You want to be protected? Everyone's placebo COVID and it's anti-arthritis and anti-malaria pill. I'm no doctor, but it doesn't sound right. May as well take Viagra. You want to take Viagra? You think that's going to help you? It might help you cement shoes. I don't know. I don't think it's going to help you with COVID. Bill Gates is interested in a lot of stuff. I don't think he's half as evil as people think that he is. He got blown out of proportion, taken out of context what he was talking about. Alabama. This time last year, I was on vacation of a lifetime. So glad I did not postpone it until this year. I'm so scared to venture out into the world. I'm sorry that you feel that way, but at the same time, I understand it. I do. I really do. I understand that, everybody, the hesitance to want to, interact with other people or be out in public. If I could get everything delivered here to my home, I would, but I can't. So I do have to venture out. And I'm a big, I need people. I need the interactions. Even if I don't talk to anybody, I need to be places where other people are. I just need to know that I belong. That, I guess, nucleus of who I am. I will. Hi, Jeanette. Hope you have a good day. Thank you. You the same. Viagra for COVID. LOL. Do you pronounce it Reichart? 0713? Sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. Or is it supposed to be Ricart? Reichart or Ricart? Either way, I'm sorry. Pretty in camo. Good morning. Yeah, it might be late, but I'm here. Well, I'm glad you're here. Welcome to the stream this morning. Sorry about that. No way in heck I'm going to get on an airplane for a long time. I'm an introvert, so not being around people does not bother me. You have your pups, Alabama? That's cool. And my wife and my daughter, they booked their flights to Ireland, and compared to the last time that they went, this flight, it's going to be my mother-in-law, my daughter, my wife, and maybe my son, but we're not sure yet. But the four of them for sure are going to go on. Well, mother-in-law, wife, daughter, three of them out of the four are going to definitely. They paid and booked their flights to Ireland, and I think it was like 40% of what the flight was the last time. But they're not going until next year, February of 2021. But still, that was on. Excuse me. I can't remember the airline. She was on a bunch of different ones, getting quotes for prices. Still here. Sense of community. JJ51, because that blue, no, I've never changed. Yeah. To each their own. Gayla, I was supposed to do serial killer trivia last weekend, but we got sidetracked and we just started all gabbing and we never got to it. I have to go back and actually change that from the actual description of the actual stream. But yes, doing serial killer trivia again. I will do it again here soon, probably next weekend, because, well, I mean, I wasn't prepared to do it this weekend, but last weekend I was. I had all my notes and my cards and everything else out. So let's just shoot for next weekend to do it then. Sound good? Will, you love that PBR hat? Thank you. I got this from a subscriber. This is going to sound terrible, but I don't remember what the person's name was right now off the top of my head. I've gotten a lot of really cool things from subscribers. It's kind of weird. The way it works is like, at least to me, it does. So I'll get no mail at all, and then I will just get flooded with mail from letters, cards, gifts from subscribers. And I really appreciate everyone who takes the time, even if it's just to send me a postcard. It shows that somebody took that extra time and care to actually want to do that. It's really nice. I'm still here, obviously. Bye, RN. Is RN leaving? Oh, you may not be able to join next Saturday. Be gone, but try. Okay, well, see, I only have two Saturdays left. And this I have next Saturday, and then the Saturday after Gala. So the weekend after that, I will not have a Saturday morning stream at all, because I leave town Wednesday. And I play in a golf tournament. Well, we have the opener, like meet and greet Wednesday night, and then I play Thursday, Friday. That tournament finishes up. I have Friday morning. Then I have to drive about 70 miles to the next town where I will be staying, and then we have a practice round for that tournament Friday, and then we play Saturday, Sunday in that tournament, and then I come home the following Monday. But that's in 3 weeks from now, from right now. 3 weekends from now, I'm going to be gone for like a week, almost a week. I come home Monday, and Tuesday. Well, there won't be anybody here at my house because everybody else will be out of town. So I'm going to be gone 6 days. Still here. Do I have ongoing side effects from having COVID? Not that any that I notice right now. It's been a while. I haven't had any of the side effects, so nothing long lasting right now. My doctor says that I have diminished lung capacity, and I said, "Oh yeah." Oh, that's nice. How the hell do you tell the difference between what the COVID took away from me and what the cigarettes in my pocket are taking away from me? He just had a blank stare in his face. Cement shoes. I'm about as technical as a horse and buggy driver. Michelle, good morning. I hope you are doing well, and welcome to the stream, Michelle. Cement shoes. My PO box is, if you go to my About Me page, it's on the About Me page. Always has been. The reason why I say that, it's always been there. There's a lot of people are like, well, I don't see it. I'm like, I don't see how you can't see the email link right above it or below it, and the PO box address is right there. I heard a lot of people are suffering from ME type of problems after the virus. I have ME. I'm hoping more people will be more understanding of invisible illness now. What blue 1 2 3 4? What is ME? I'm not sure what that is. I'm sorry. I have a coworker that has been extremely sick with the virus for 3 weeks. He had a picture of health. He was a picture of health before the virus. Yeah. Well, when I got it, it was pretty bad. Sorry about your coworker, Alabama. Alabama. Leah Watt, welcome to the stream. Sorry I didn't say hello earlier if I missed you. You don't mind being home a lot, but I sure do miss my alone time. You were late? Okay. Well, either way, welcome to the stream anyways. I'm glad you could make it today. Sorry, forgot to turn the camera back on. I'm sitting here reading the stream and I forgot to turn the camera back on. Your family's next court date is 9/15. All tests again clear. They should have no excuse this time. Team Unicorn rides again. Well, good luck with the court date. Drama must remain here on stage. Remain on stage, not remain here. Remain on stage. Chronic fatigue. Connie Kelly, good morning. Welcome to the stream. Or afternoon. Well, where I am, Connie, it is 9:08 a.m. It is definitely morning for me. ME is chronic fatigue syndrome, are the same thing. I have fibromyalgia as well. Ooh, I have a friend with fibromyalgia. That sucks. I'm really sorry, Blue. I really am. I would not want that. I hope your doctors have, got medication that is helping, relieve the symptoms of that. I know my friend, she's gone through several different courses of different medications for it. Barely 9 a.m. there, where K Love is. More than your fair share. You're overdue for some good karma. Yep, definitely. Sending good karma your way, Blue. Fancy Nancy, it's noon there. Never gets any easier, huh? That sucks. In the 80s, ME was nicknamed the yuppie flu in the UK. Really? You've been on Top Chat. I don't know, Michelle. What's going on with mine? I'm just, instead of watching the end of it, I'm watching right in the middle because everything is going from here and it goes up and then comes down and then it just shoots by. But everything in the middle pretty much is staying the same. So I'm actually reading what's in the middle and not paying attention to what's in the bottom or the top. Because I don't know if this is Top Chat or Next Chat or whatever the option is, and I don't know where to even change it on here. I'm thinking it's probably a setting that I'd have to do on YouTube, and I'm streaming them I'm on StreamYards, streaming to YouTube. B12, if you're iron deficient. I've never been iron deficient, but if that helps with fibromyalgia. Top Chat bites. Zero Vital. Too much to type, but worth looking into. It may help. Does anybody here watch cooking shows on online or on YouTube? Just curious if anybody does. Yeah, I have no idea why they still have it, Michelle. I don't know what that's what I'm set at right now or not. Gayla, you love cooking shows? I'm just wondering if anybody watches cooking shows online. I love to watch cooking shows like Good Eats. They're on the Food Network. It's with Alton Brown. Master Chef just finished in the UK. My son keeps telling me to enter. Well, if you've ever seen Good Eats, I like watching that because Alton Brown talks about the science behind why certain things work together, and why maybe a bread rises, and he shows the breakdown of the gluten and everything else and what he's making. But Alton Brown, look up his Alton Brown channel on YouTube. It's right now he's doing it, because of COVID. It's just him and his wife, the two of them. And first they have, like yesterday, they played a song. Each of them had a guitar and they sang a song, and then you'll like the song, trust me. And then they had cocktails, and they eventually got around to making a Chinese dish the other night. But it's really interesting. Love cooking videos. Does watching candy making count? Sure. He's made candy, Michelle. He on Good Eats. Diamond Drives. Sam, the cooking guy on YouTube. I've never seen Sam, the cooking guy, but Guy Fieri. I met him at a charity poker tournament a couple of years. Well, I say a couple of years. I want to say a couple of years, but it's been longer than that now. I have to keep on remembering how old my daughter is when I say something like that, because my grandmother lived in McLaughlin, and which is outside of Vegas, and she passed away now almost 3 years. So it's been at least 4 years ago. But I got to meet him there at the charity poker tournament. Just an okay guy. Very loud, very boisterous, I guess would be the best way to put it. The persona you see on the show is pretty much exactly what he's like in real life. What does tramp mean in the UK? It's a good question. That's one cooking show you adore. I wrote down the recipe so I can't remember. Oh. You are 2 hours behind. It is 11:19 a.m. I'd be lost without YouTube. I'm a member of a few communities. K-Love, it means slut here. And okay, now we know. Reference this song, Get Too Hungry for Dinner at 8. That's why the lady's a tramp. That's why the lady's a tramp. Is that like a Dean Martin song? Or for some reason I'm thinking Dean Martin in my head. Don't watch TV anymore. I watch YouTube. Much more interesting. Alabama, yeah. I mean, Alton Brown's. You can watch Good Eats, and you can watch his own channel, Alton Brown, on YouTube. I don't watch TV either, but every once in a while, and while I'm waiting for the buffering of a video to happen, I'll have like 20 minutes. So I'll open up another tab and open up YouTube, and I'll watch whatever random things. Sorry about that again. I gotta find out how long it's going to be here. Hold on a second. Oh, only 12 more minutes, and then the video will be actually done buffering. It takes forever when I'm using this, because I'm downloading it from the cloud to my computer, and then from my computer, once I get it downloaded, I have to upload it to YouTube. It takes forever some days, but Frank Sinatra, yeah. I love The Pioneer Woman and Rachel Ray. Talk about some. Me and my wife. Speaking of Rachel Ray, we bought Rachel Ray's pans. We finally decided enough was enough. We had a bunch of copper, pans, and older cookware. We didn't get rid of that stuff. We kept some of the copper pans. We kept all the cast iron, and we got rid of all the mismatched stuff. And we bought Rachel Ray's. I think it was like a 36-piece set of pots and pans. And then we bought the cooking tray, cookie trays and stuff like that from baking cookies. That's actually really well made stuff. Expensive, but very well made. We're extremely happy with it so far. Tramp in the UK used to be a terminal name for homeless people. More commonly these days called girl lady with legs like, oh, okay. Now I know. Down the road financially. Yeah, I knew that one, cement shoe, what, tramp. That definition of tramp. But it's interesting how it changes over time. And good morning, faithful one. I hope you were doing well this morning. Your bathroom needs a clean. Where do you live? I can be there in 5 minutes. The granite stone. I was thinking about buying one of those, but I bought separately from the Rachel Ray set. Because Rachel Ray, she doesn't make a 12-inch or a 14-inch skillet, and I needed a larger skillet for those mornings when we have a lot of people here and making bacon and scrambled eggs and stuff like that. So I bought the green organics or whatever it is pan. Man, that thing is freaking amazing. And that's along those same lines of the granite ones, but not really, I guess, at the same time. But it's a non-stick. That thing works great. We use that one constantly. Calphalon cookware and bakeware, love it. Alabama, you don't cook, you microwave. The only thing that our microwave here gets used for is for warming up things, mainly coffee. I mean, I've got a microwave over here, and then we've got one in the house, but mainly used for just warming up coffee. My daughter loves to bake, and we have when my wife's friends come over every weekend, like they will later on today, they always do like a potluck, and there's always inevitably somebody who will bring something, for the potluck that is needs to be cooked still. Warming coffee, Nurse Bev. That's about the only thing ours is used for. That and occasionally, coffee, warming something up, and occasionally Hot Pockets. My wife likes the Hot Pockets. I don't like them. But to each their own, I guess, right? Gotta have a good pan to cook in. Yeah. Definitely. But we went for years with mismatched pans, and we bought a pan here or bought a couple here, and they broke down over time. But we have one pan, one pan at a skillet that we bought 27 years ago that still works just as good today as the day we bought it, and it's not a cast iron skillet. It's a square skillet. And we bought it from Pampered Chef 27 years ago, and it still functions. And the coating on it, the nonstick surface on it, has never come off. It's never warped. Works just as good as the day as we got it, and we use it a lot, especially when we make pancakes or French toast or whatever. I miss the days of being able to have knives and scissors sharpened. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's a lost art form around here. Yeah, Pampered Chef Pizza Stone. We have a couple of things besides that are still. We have a garlic press that's from Pampered Chef, and I think we have some of the measuring bowls, like they're little glass bowls, like they're kind of like Pyrex, but they're glass. They're Pampered Chef, and they had lids for them. I think we have 2 or 3 of those around. But what gets used a lot around here is that skillet and the garlic press. But I mean, stuff lasts forever. I do make my dogs chicken jerky. I hate it, but the pups love it. Love the jerky. Oh, that's cool. I used to make jerky quite a bit because the price of jerky in the store is just outrageous. I mean, for not for puppies, but I mean, my dogs will eat just about anything. Have their brownie pan and pizza cutter as well. That's cool. Yeah, I don't even know anybody who when we first started dating, me and my wife started dating, we knew a lot of people who were selling Pampered Chef. They'd have Pampered Chef like parties and stuff like that. And along with that, also, we used to know people who sold Tupperware. I don't know anybody that sells this stuff anymore. And it's just amazing just how, it's like these fads that come through, and they're gone. But then at the same time, people who used to sell Tupperware or Pampered Chef, they've all moved on to selling cosmetics like Mary Kay and these other companies like that. So you've lost 2 husbands. A bit careless of you. I don't think that was it. But good morning, Light Feather. How are you doing this morning? I hope you are doing well. I love Rachel Ray. I used to watch her show. She is a great cookware too. I have the Pampered Chef cookware too. Good stuff. My sister and I used to have parties. Yeah, a lot of that. I mean, I'm sure there's people are still doing them. I just don't know where. I don't know anybody who's actually doing them anymore. I went to a few Pampered Chef parties. Faithful one that you did? They were from the 80s or something. Tupperware is no longer sold in the UK? Really? Well, that sucks. I have Tupperware in my house, no joke, that my grandmother bought new back in, I think, the 60s. And I mean, and it like the flour containers and bowls and everything. I mean, the stuff lasts forever. I've never found anything that will hold up like a Tupperware bowl. Never. Other ones, you put them in the dishwasher, they warp, or the lids start to crack along the edges. Something always goes wrong with them. Never had a problem with the Tupperware dish. But when my grandmother died, we partied it out. She had an entire kitchen full of this stuff, that and canisters and all kinds of stuff from Tupperware. She never sold it herself, but she was definitely the in buyer. But I have a complete set of orange bowls, and that's orange bowls, and then the measuring cups and everything else, and the chain thing you can hook up, and that are orange. And I have almost a complete set of the I guess it's lime green color. I think that's they call it, lime green. That's what I call it, but it's green. My mom gave me her cast iron skillets she bought in 1951. Wow. And I didn't have any cast iron skillets. I didn't have, until a couple of years back. I went to one of those camping and hunting expo shows, and I met this guy Butch Double Oven Butch Wells or something like that. It's some kind of name like that. The guy cooks everything in a cast iron skillet over a campfire, and I was like, that's really cool. I could probably use a cast iron skillet to put into the camper. So I bought one from him, and I still have it. It's sitting in the bottom of the shelf in the oven. I hardly ever use it, but I still have it. You love the lime green color of the Tupperware? Yeah, I was explaining Tupperware to a friend of mine once. He's like, "Well, why do you like this stuff so much? I mean, it's ugly. It's yellow or it's orange." And I explained to him, I go, "Well, look at it this way. You can go to Walmart. You can buy a set of bowls. Then they might last you 5 years. If you're lucky, they last you 10 years. Then you got to buy another set. That might get you another 10 years. And if you live, until you're 70, you'll have bought 5 sets at least, in that time frame. These Tupperware dishes were bought by my grandmother, and they outlived my grandmother, my mother, and me. They outlive us all. They're just made that well. Yep, it lasts forever. The one thing that I wish I still had, and it just recently broke, was I had two of those Tang, the Tang, the drink of astronauts. I had two of the glass pitchers, and one of them fell off the shelf and broke. Still have the lid, but the glass pitcher. I'm gonna have to go onto eBay and see if I can find another one to replace it. So I had the two. We have that way. We have one for orange juice, and we have one for grapefruit juice. Good morning, Karen Smith. If I didn't say hello earlier, I'm sorry, but welcome to the stream. Is a skillet like a grill pan? Well, they can have grill like marks in them, but the one that I have is a flat pan. It's about 10 inches square, and then it has a handle on it. It's just big enough to fit over a large burner. But the one I have is made, it's pretty thick metal, like a cast iron skillet, but it's square and it has really low sidewalls. I think the sidewalls are maybe a half inch. The dishwasher ate it. Light feather. So all my bowls, like mixing bowls and everything else, they all stack inside. The Tupperware dishes, they all stack inside of each other. So it's really easy to keep those. And then I have one drawer in my kitchen where I keep all the lids. And I found this thing at I think it was at Target, where you can actually it organizes. It's actually made for I want to say it's made for like organizing like cookie trays, or something like that. But it works perfect for lids for bowls, so I can separate it from the largest lids to one end, all the way down to the smaller lids. And I have that inside of the drawer itself. It's a pretty deep drawer. Our house was built in 1944. Most of the house was completely renovated before we bought the place. The couple who owned it before us, they did an extensive amount of renovation to all the bedrooms, living room, and it used to be a two-family home, and then they renovated it into one family. But the kitchen is the only area of the house that hasn't been renovated. All the cabinets that are in there are all from 1944. So the one drawer where I have all the lids is probably 2 feet deep. By I don't know what, 4 feet or whatever the hell the length is of a drawer. I don't know. I've never measured how deep they are. That would be a good way to do it, Caleb, to keep the lid on the actual bowls. But I mean, I guess like you could put all the Tupperware bowls inside of each other, and then put the lids on top. All the smaller ones inside there, and put the bigger one on top, and actually, attach it. So you can do it that way, I guess. That'd be a good idea. Norman Bates did that. Had a cupboard full of Tupperware. Well, good for Norman Bates. And Norman loved his mother. Don't forget that. Norman loved his mother. Lids, not kids. Yeah, I just put up two hanging racks in the kitchen for pots and pans, and then up on the shelf, but seldom used items like waffle makers. My wife is a big fan of waffle makers. Huh. My sister in Colorado just messaged me. That's odd. I'll have to see what she wants after this. Fancy Nancy, I live in a log cabin built in 1974. That's cool. Is it out in the wilderness somewhere, outside of town, or in the mountains? Because that'd be cool as shit. Sorry for my language, but it would be. It was his mother's Tupperware cement shoes. Okay, but he still loved his mommy. Can't find your kids. They found a female body in Colorado. Uh, so she's not talking about that. So my grandmother, my mom's mom, just got put into hospice. Um, so she was in hospice. Then she got better because she had surgery. Then they chemo and everything else, and then they took her out of hospice, and then she was able to go home. And now she's back in hospice again. And this time they don't think they're going to be able to do anything for her. And my mom lives with her in Minnesota, so we're trying to figure out what we're going to do with my mother, because my mother can't take care of herself because she's mentally disabled. She's a head trauma survivor. She's got the intellect and whereabouts of maybe a 10 to a 12-year old on a good day. So I'm not Nurse Beth. There's no reason to be sorry, but I don't like my mother. I don't get along with her. I never have, and I probably never will. And at this point, in her life, I have more pity for her because karma has come back to bite her in the ass for how she's lived her life. She's one of these people that has spent her entire life um, stirring up as much drama and hate as she could, in everyone else's lives. And my grandmother, for her, she's one of these people that's just always kept to herself. But the apple didn't fall too far from the tree between from my mother and her mom. They're pretty much the same. I don't know if I would either, because that Don't know if I would either. I mean, the rest of my family might feel differently than I do, but that's just who I am. I've lived through enough of her BS over the years, and I don't want to deal with it anymore. So we're trying to figure out once my grandmother passes. Obviously, my mom can't be with her right now while she's in hospice. So somebody has had to step in, and we had a niece who stepped in and moved my mom in with her back home. In the meantime, and then we're trying to figure out all the logistics of everything, power of attorney and all that. It's a giant mess. Yeah, incredibly hard. Blue. Yeah, I don't know. My mother definitely has a narcissistic personality, but she's also manic depressive. And this was all before the head injury. She was narcissistic, and then she had the manic depression on top of that. And then there's a great portion of who she is. She always she refused to grow up and take responsibility for her actions. That was before the accident. Then she had the accident, and all those traits that were terrible about her became tenfold over. So now she's violent to anybody who gets in her way, and she doesn't care. And the legal system there in the state of Minnesota refuses pretty much to do anything to make her held accountable for her actions. I mean, she takes a bus that's for seniors to and from a casino every day, and goes and plays slot machines. And the driver, I guess, said something to her one time, and she physically attacked the guy and started punching him in the face. So instead of them charging her with assault, they said, "Well, she doesn't know what she's doing." So they dropped the case, and they gave her a fine. And we're like, that poor guy. All he was doing was just driving her there, and he said something to her that she didn't like. And there's been multiple things like that have happened, over the course of like the last 15 years. But they won't hold her accountable because of her mental capacity. It is. It's a giant mess. Gala. There's a lot of family history there that definitely might play into that. That she's like this because her mom was mean to her. But at what point do as growing up as a child, and if you had an awful upbringing, at some point you do have to take responsibility for what quality of life you have, at there on out. You can either let the past keep you down, or you can move forward and do better. Make your life better, and those around you their lives better. My mother chose not to, and because of either the manic depression and her narcissistic personality, she just decided that it was all about her, and it was always going to be about her. And then when she'd have her manic episodes, she'd just disappear. And that happened all throughout my life growing up. She just vanished. We wouldn't know if she was alive or dead until a pizza was delivered to the home, and then she'd show up. I always look back on it. It's like my father was lucky. He died when I was 10. He got out early. He realized just how shitty it was. I joke about it, but oh yeah, same here, Blue. Same here. I've done a complete flip of everything that my mother has ever been and has ever done. She always was about her, and only her. And I've made my life about everybody else. Let's see what I can do to make the community that I live in and other people's lives more fulfilling and rich. It's not fun being around toxic people. They will take you down if you let them. That is absolutely true. Yeah, well, they are the best teachers, one way or another. They will teach you. Manic depression is horrible. They now have meds for that. They do. They do, Fancy Nancy. My mother knew she could, she was diagnosed with manic depression back in the 80s, and she refused to take any medication for it at all. She just kept on living her life and doing what the hell she wanted. Didn't care about it at all. And her accident wasn't until 1995, so she had about 15 years, somewhere in there between the time she was diagnosed and when she had finally had when she had the car accident. But she just doesn't care. She didn't care at all. She didn't see anything wrong with what she was doing. She thought the whole world was against her. So she just kept on doing what she was doing, and she got the same outcome. So that's why my sister was texting me on the bigger and better things. Cement shoes. I'm human. I'm not perfect by any means at all, but I do better, and I learn from my mistakes, and I try to do the best I can. And really, that's all we can ever do in this life. Life is so short, and you might as well live your life and be happy and do the best you can. Make an example. Some people just don't want to do it. It's hard to cope when your kid to cope with a horrid mother. Very hard. The things to break the chain. Yeah, it had to be difficult. Well, having a mother that could nurture you and your siblings. Well, I was probably like Feather. I was probably about 13, right in there, and I had to step in as the primary care provider for my two younger sisters. So there's five of us total. Well, at least there was five. Got my brother, then I have sister, me, and then sister, and then my mom had number six later on. And that's the sister that was texting me. And the two younger ones, I have a sister who is 3 years younger than me, and then this one is 4 or 5 years younger. But I had to step in to be the care provider because I never knew when she was going to come back. Sometimes she did, sometimes she didn't. Oh, I figured it out pretty quickly. Well, thank you, Fancy Nancy. 3 cheers to you as well. That will build resentment. I don't know if I resent her. I just don't care. To me, I've completely cut off, her and her mom, my grandmother. I mean, I have a great relationship with everybody else in my family. It's just those two. They don't get along with anybody else in the family, and nobody else wants anything to do with them either. It's not just me. And now we're all forced into the situation where somebody has to step up and say that they're going to be held responsible for them in their final years of life. My grandmother, even though they put her in hospice, she didn't want to go. I mean, they damn near had to force her to go. And they gave her basically three options. One, stay in the hospital and die there. Two, go to hospice and die there. Or three, go home and die there. Well, she can't go back to her home because she, it's like 3/4 away, torn apart. Because my uncle, who was killed in a car accident, well, almost a year and a half ago, and he was in the middle of remodeling her home when it happened. So she can't go home. So she had two options. and she didn't want either one of those. So, a whole bunch of family members got together and they finally talked her into going to hospice. She's got like 5 brothers, and 3 of them, I think, came to the hospital and talked to her. I took total care of cooking, cleaning, shopping, everything for my much younger sister. That's why I was always able to stand on my own 2 feet. Yeah, I understand that, Gail. I mean, I got my first job. I was 6 years old. I worked for a construction company. They were tearing down brick buildings in downtown St. Paul, and I would sort out good bricks from bad bricks. If a bad brick was a broken brick, but I'd stack the good bricks up on a pallet, or in an area, and then the guy would pay me at the end of the day. I didn't make much money at it, but it was money. And besides that, working on our family farm, it teaches you responsibility right away. In 13, when my mom started disappearing for long extended periods of time, I worked odd jobs, paper route. I would go around and I'd pick up and collect up recycling bottles and cans and anything to earn money to buy food. Made sure my sisters always got cleaned and dressed and off to school. And then I went to school. Yeah, it forced me into to be an adult, but somebody had to do it. I mean, there were plenty of people around us who knew what was going on. We had a very good friend who was a local law enforcement, and if it wasn't for him helping transport my sisters back and forth to softball practice or whatever, and he's not even a member of our family; he was just a friend. So I became friends with him at an early age, and I learned somebody had to make sure I stayed on the straight and narrow as well. But Tamara Hayes, my mom was a narcissist. She passed away in January. I felt nothing, and I don't miss her at all. Freedom at last. Hard work builds character. It made your police training easier. Yeah, I can understand that. So it wasn't anything for me when I went into the service. I mean, I was probably about 40 pounds younger. It's smaller than I am now. I got the old dad bod going now. But the hard work definitely paid off. I mean, I got all this because of hard work. I didn't, it didn't just fall into my lap for free. Starfire, yeah, I've been told that a lot. I should write a book about my life. I've done a lot more in my life than most people will do in their lifetimes. Will I ever be good enough? Blue Mermaid. Speaking of that, I was watching a podcast yesterday, and what the guy who was on the podcast was talking about his therapist used to make him the first thing he told him to do was to go home, get out a stick of deodorant, and write that on the top of the mirror in his bathroom, so he'd see it every morning before he took a shower or brushed his teeth or anything. Write down on the mirror, that he is good enough. I mean, there's something to that. No, it's never easy for anybody. I mean, there was a lot of heartache along the way, but I made the best of it. I'm here today. You should write a book about your life as well, Lightfeather. Yeah, I don't know I mean, if I had to give a percentage, a chance on if I'll ever write a book about it, I'd say maybe 10%. I'm not a really good writer. I'd have to probably find somebody who can write the book and then be like ghostwriter or for it. Yep. Turn lemons into lemonade, Gala. You're absolutely correct there. But we all have a story, and that's one thing I always keep on telling people. YouTube is just not for true crime. YouTube is everybody has a life story. Even if you just pick up your phone, hold it to your face, and record something. Your thoughts of the day. It can just be, start a YouTube channel and make it, your own personal journey, through life, and tell people who you are, where you came from, and how you got there today, and your stumbles along the way, your heartaches, and your love, and what makes you happy, what makes you sad. And the story is out there, and you never know who you will actually be able to touch with your story. If you do something like that and you touch one person, you've helped. Yeah, that is very true. We all have a story, and once we're gone, who's going to remember it? Who are we going to be able to help with our journeys through this life? Well, K-Love, Donald Trump says he wants to do away with TikTok here in America. But at the same time, Microsoft is in talks to buy TikTok America. From what I read in the news, I don't know if that's true. I think they would buy TikTok, the company itself, so it'd be all of it. I don't know why they just buy this, the American TikTok, buy the whole thing. But that's what I read in the news was that Trump wanted to do away with TikTok and because of its ties to China, and Microsoft wants to buy them. Mainstream media is turning into big time media. Yeah, in some aspects. Um, right now, I mean, I think social media, and it's going to get worse from here on out for the rest of the year. It's just going to get worse. If you're on social media anywhere else besides YouTube, and along with YouTube, it's going to become a giant freaking dumpster fire. The closer and closer we get to the elections, the hate is going to be spilled over into everything. And trust me when I tell you, all they want to do is divide you and make you fight and argue with your friends and family and move us farther and farther apart. They don't want us to get together and have a common ground for anything. Everybody over here wants you to hate everybody over there. Everybody over here wants you to hate everybody over there. And if you think I'm wrong, pull up any presidential or election, not only for presidential but governor's race. When was the last time you ever heard one party say something nice about the other one? And now in this supercharged environment that we're in right now with what's going on in the U.S., they're going to use that as fodder against the other one. You didn't do anything in 1961. I saw you hanging out with this person. This guy over here says that and it's going to keep on and keep on, and they're going to pile it on us. Yep. There, it's already happening, Cement Shoes. You're right. Nurse Bev, I've never used TikTok. I have no desire to do it. But I'm terrible at social media the way it is. But I didn't know what TikTok was until my niece came over and her friend were sitting around. I think it was Christmas. I think it was. So about 6 months ago is when I learned what TikTok was. I was like, "What the hell are you guys doing?" I thought they were doing like an Instagram, video. That's what I thought they were doing. But they're like, "No, this is TikTok. This is even better than Instagram." And I'm like, "I have Instagram, and I don't understand Instagram. It's I guess it's just pictures and videos, but why the hell am I on this? I don't even like this." Quit Facebook. Too aggravating with all the phony BS. Yeah, yeah. I still have the Facebook group page for 411 now. I check on it. Nobody ever talks about anything. And every time I let someone new into the group, they just start spamming it full of stuff from around the world, or they want to sell something. But nobody in the group talks about anything. I'm like, and everybody has the same equal rights in the group. They can all talk about any crime topic they want. Share a story about whatever, but nobody does. It's like crickets over there. So I check it every once in a while, and I'm like, still nothing, and still nothing. Try to engage people, talk to them, comment, but then nobody responds back. There's 200 people in that group, but you do. You don't have IG either. Instagram. See, now tell you something interesting about that. The way you put that, Nurse Beth, IG. People kept on asking me, "Hey, when are you gonna do something on IG later? Are you gonna do something on IG later? Over and over again." And I'm not kidding you. This is not a joke. I had absolutely no idea what the hell IG was. I actually I Googled it, IG. What is IG? Just to tell me, it's Instagram. I had no idea. That's just how terrible I am at it. I was like, why does everybody want me to do something on IG? Now I know. It's Instagram. Oh, people on, yeah. They're one person in real life and they're a completely different person on Facebook. Yeah, I hate that. Fake people being fake. Your 9-year-old granddaughter asked me if I liked the president. She said no one on Twitter. She said everyone on Twitter hates him. We had a little talk. Yeah, you need to. That's IG for the gram. IG or the gram. People were just commenting IG. When do you do something on IG? You have anything you're putting on IG? And I'm like, what the hell are you guys even talking about? I have no idea. Fake people. You don't have Twitter either. I use Twitter a lot more than any other social media, but I've noticed that I have to be very careful what I post on Twitter because they have taken down a couple of my posts. Because what I'm doing is on Twitter is I'm sharing what I do here on YouTube, and what YouTube doesn't like, Twitter doesn't like it, pretty much as well. So they have definitely censored me over there. I haven't been removed or been timed out on Twitter. Now I have been on Facebook. Facebook actually put me in Facebook jail for 7 days, and then they made me watch a video and agree that I would participate, go along with their standards. And I was like, it was ridiculous. There was a guy that was feeding bleach to his children because he believed that it would help them from being able to catch the COVID virus. Excuse me. So I reported him to his local police department, and he contacted Facebook and said that I was harassing him. So then Facebook put me in Facebook jail for 7 days and made me watch a video on community standards in order to have my Facebook back. I'm like, really? This guy's feeding bleach to his children. Why don't you read the entire context? But of course, it's all done by computer until somebody, like me, stands up and says, what the hell is wrong with you people? Excuse me. Oh, yeah. Galen, my nieces and nephews, you can't get them to set their stupid phone down. My nephew actually has a jacket that he always wears. And I always wondered, I'm like, it's like summertime. Why are you always wearing the jacket? He's like, oh, it's self-cooling. And I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, it actually has fans in it in the front and the back. So it actually cools him. But also it's got, he can take a cord, he can take a cord, plug it in, and then charge his phone right from his jacket. And all he has to do when he goes home at night is just hang it up on this hook, and it charges it. Doesn't have to plug the code in. It self charges from the hook, because the hook is then plugged into the wall. Crazy, yeah. Well, it was nuts. I don't know if the police ever did anything about that case or not. Don't know. I was off of Facebook for 7 days, and by the time I got back on, I couldn't find the guy's name anymore. So I think he deleted his account after he reported me for harassment. Cement. Kim Kardashian, West, or Kanye? I'll vote for Kanye if he's able to find a vice president, someone to run as vice president with the last name of Twitty. See if you guys get that joke. Kanye West is running for president. I said I would vote for him for president if he finds a vice president or somebody to run with him as vice president with the last name of Twitty. See, Starfire got it. I think that'd be a great sign. Wouldn't you want to put that in your yard? Conway Twitty for president. All right, it's Kanye, but still, I still think it's funny. Otherwise, I'll probably be writing in Mickey Mouse. Good morning, Debbie Lee and Linda. Sorry, I'm scrolling back up and down through the stream here. I just now seen if I didn't say hello earlier, I'm sorry. But welcome to the stream. I hope you guys are both having a great day today. You'd vote for Joe Exotic before Kanye West? I actually saw There, and this is not a joke. It's along that lines of Tiger King. There is a group. They're from Oklahoma, who is trying to get Carol Baskin on the presidential ballot. She's not even running. They were just trying to get her on the ballot in Oklahoma as a viable presidential nominee. I think they were going to have. They wanted her underneath the Independent or Green Party or something like that. In the U.S., when's the election? Well, it is like 90 days from now, or for 90 days from yesterday, I believe. It's one of the two. Meghan Markle for president. What's all that about? It's got to be a joke, right? Joe Exotic, he's in prison. I believe so. I don't know. I haven't followed the entire thing. I haven't even seen any of the Tiger King. But I'm, in the mornings I'm over on CC's stream, and people are always talking about it on Coffee with CC in the morning. I just kind of sit there and go, I'm like, I don't know anything about it. And I just find it funny, the Carol Baskin memes that are out there. There's some pretty funny ones. Starfire 3, you don't want to vote at all? I don't know. And at the same time, though, I think that's how they win. If we don't vote, I'd vote for Carol Baskin before Kanye, too. She did it better than Hillary at hiding the infractions. Time for lunch. Great chat today. Take care, everyone. Bye, Nurse Bev. You have a great day today. The stream is gonna go for about another 10 minutes, and then I've got to take off. Light Feather, you're taking off as well? Bye. You have a great day. Stay safe out there. We can't vote for either president. We can condone a crooked election system. I don't know, Kevin. I live in Washington State, and we have been a mail-in only voting state for 10 years. And in the 10 years of the write-in, mail-in ballots, they have found less than 0.5% of invalid votes for president and for everything from school board on to the governor. Less than 1%. And most of those ballots, the reason why they were kicked out of the system is because the signature on the actual ballot doesn't match the signature that is on record with the registered voter. That's most of them. When it comes to dead people voting, I don't know, maybe dead people do vote in Florida and other places. I don't know. I just know from my state where I live, there hasn't been fraud like, that it keeps on being talked about in the news. We've been doing it for so long here. It's not that hard. I mean, thankfully now we don't have to affix postage anymore. We used to have to put postage on them if we mailed them. Now we don't have to. And they've increased the drop-off locations, like county auditors' offices, and and they've put drop boxes next to the big blue mailboxes at post offices. So that's good. They've increased those locations where we can drop them off in person. We don't have to mail them. But I understand people have concerns about it being a rigged election and not being valid. Certainly doesn't the information that is out there about balloting in mail-in ballots. It's just not there. You can say that there's going to be massive fraud, but they've never been able to prove massive fraud in any election for mail-in. There have been times where and there definitely has been, like when Al Gore ran for president and ended up losing, even though he had the popular vote and didn't get the electoral college vote. There were a lot of people who voted who weren't supposed to vote, or they mailed in a ballot and then they voted in person. But we have to figure out some way to do it in the short term, within less than 90 days. And they've had over since March, since this all started. We've had this. We know we can't vote in person. It's not safe. So what are you going to do? I can tell you this much. It's absolutely impossible for Donald Trump to try to postpone the election. It's in the Constitution that, when we have the actual voting for president, he can't move the date of voting. It's only can be moved by an act of Congress. And there is absolutely no way that they're going to, the Republicans are going to get enough Democrats to step over to their side and say, let's postpone the election. We voted on the same day every year, through war, famine, depression, everything. We voted for president on the same day. And it didn't affect any of those. So election fraud in the primaries cannot ignore the primaries in the primaries. Okay. I don't work for the election committees or any of that. It's not my problem. I know if there was fraud in it, and if anybody was able to actually prove that there was fraud, then they would come up with a system that says, okay, well, let's just vote in groups. Today, everybody with the last name that starts with an A, B, C, D, and E, go vote today. Everybody, tomorrow will be D, E, F, and so on. They could do it that way if they want to vote in person. But they didn't decide to do that. They just decided to bitch and moan about it. And that's the way I look at it. Sorry, but that's my personal view. I'd like to see the proof that there's been widespread voter fraud at all, ever. The information is just not there. There's no statistical information that says that there has been large scale voter fraud. Yeah, besides what happened in Florida, during the Al Gore election, which was messed up to begin with. There were so many things that we've corrected since then. But well, that's enough about that. Move on to something else. Blue, been there? We bought a bottle of scotch. You like scotch, Kazap? I got a friend who really likes scotch. He drinks Cuddies a lot. I think that's what it's called, Cuddies Scotch, or Endifinger, or something like that. He doesn't like Jameson. Jameson makes a Scotch whiskey. He doesn't like that one at all. Didn't anybody tell me I had a giant hair on my side of my face? Oh well. Hi, Alma. Alma, I'm about to end the stream. Sorry, sweetheart. You can watch it rewind. Vodka is good. This is a bottle of Rich and Rare Canadian Whiskey Blend. No, Debbie, I normally do it every June, but with the COVID thing, that pretty much ended it. That and they canceled minor league baseball for the entire year. So there was no baseball games for me to, the road trip to go see. Hopefully next year. Hopefully. Pete's whiskey is nice. Never had Pete's whiskey. At least I don't think I did have. It was right here. It went all the way down and saw my face in the cross. I was like, what the hell? Where'd that come from? Probably one of my wife's hairs has been on my face all this time. I don't know. I don't have hair that long. But everyone, I have to get going. Alma, you have a great day, and everybody else, thank you for being here today. And thank you to everybody who did send me the super chats today. I really do appreciate that. But I appreciate everybody, even more, along with it being here and keeping this civil and for taking part and commenting. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend and stay safe out there. Until next time.